Ah,
Oh.
that's the sound of a Red Bull being cracked open because it's 1:25 in the morning, and my energy is at an all-time low. So fuck it.
Ooh. I was like,
fuck yeah.
You got a can of beans up in there?
Yeah. So like, imagine how boring life would be without like drugs and alcohol and caffeine. Like, imagine.
I don't want to go to the 1700s. Actually, no, they probably had drugs back then too.
1700s, weren't they like? Oh, wasn't everyone like constantly high on like opium back then?
I don't know. I would be.
I know people. I know that there was like back in like the Romans, whatever the hell that was. They had like weed baths where they'd have like giant baths, like a spa, and they'd have weed burning. So everyone was just high as fuck because it's like it wasn't a thing like, oh no, they're doing drugs. It was like, oh, this makes you feel good, so put it in the spa.
Fuck
Like,
yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. I bet everything like people think like back then it was just people being like brutally murdered and raped and shit, but like I bet it was a lot of fun back in those days. You know what I mean? I don't think it was all just like beheadings and kings. You know?
I don't know.
I bet it was like 70% weed baths and then like 30% beheadings. I bet there was a good amount of weed baths.
There was a lot of orgies.
Yeah, it was like 30% orgy, 40% weed bath, and then no, I would say like 20% orgy, 30% weed bath, and then like 50% beheadings. That's probably more accurate. Anyway, so this is Long Day's Journey into Film podcast, and I'm Russ. This is my co-host.
Oh, Andy.
Yes, and we're gonna talk about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. So if you haven't seen it, then maybe check it out because they're pretty fucking epic in my opinion.
Or go fuck yourself. I don't know. No.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe fuck yourself.
And record it if you do.
Yeah, and send it to us. We'll put it on our Patreon. Yeah. So shout out our Letterboxd because we have Letterboxd, and that's a thing you can follow if you want to. Also, shout out the YouTube channel where it's literally this exact same thing except for in video form as just except for there's no video. And also there's occasionally some bonus content, like maybe once every like 6 months. So shout out that.
Maybe
I also started. Sorry, what? David Lynch Theater. David, what isn't it called? Like David Lynch Theater. That fucking his YouTube channel. That smacks. I think it's called David Lynch Theater. The one where it does like random number every day. Yeah, David Lynch Theater. Fuck yeah. Shout out David Lynch Theater.
Weather forecast.
Weather forecast. Eventually, sometimes he'll throw on like a weird short or like him like painting something. It's fucking cool. Actually, fuck it. I'm gonna link David Lynch Theater down below just because.
Yeah, let's get some cross promotion going, David Lynch.
Yeah. David Lynch on the podcast when. Imagine.
Imagine. I don't think he would, but.
Nah, probably not. I don't think he's into that. He's just into like dead cats and tar and like weird fucking movies and
listening to
transcendental meditation.
Listening to a podcast on your fucking phone. Get real.
Also, shout out my YouTube channel that I just started. I started a YouTube channel where I have vlogs and I do dumb shit and I cook and I do dumb shit. It's not professional and it's not particularly movie related, but shout out that I guess. I'll also link that if you give a fuck. Yeah. So Spider-Man. Let's just get directly into the first one. Spider-Man from 2002, directed by the one and only Sam Raimi.
So this is the first time you've seen these movies.
Yeah, and I was really interested to see what I thought of these, having like no nostalgia attached to them, because like everyone likes them because they saw them when they were kids, but like I know like a lot of like the Spider-Man memes, because there's like so many like memes that came from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. So like I kind of feel like I know some stuff about them, and like I feel like I have like major plot points of all three movies like spoiled, but like it didn't really matter watching them because like I don't know, it's like I thought I kind of knew what was up with them, but I didn't. I don't know. I don't fucking know. And if I'm right, this is a big nostalgia for you, right?
Yeah, I used to watch these movies, or yeah, I've watched all of them. I think maybe the first one the least, but I watched them a lot as a kid because I was a big Spider-Man person
Hmm.
when I was younger. So it is very nostalgia based, even though I haven't seen most of them, like any of them, since probably the 2000s.
Hmm.
Or
Damn.
maybe at the latest, very early 2010s.
I've owned the Blu-ray of the trilogy, this trilogy for a long time, and I've always kind of wanted to watch them because I really love like 2000 superhero movies, like pre-MCU stuff. Like I don't know, it's just something I really like. I really enjoy like that era of like stuff like Daredevil, Ghost Rider. I mean, they're not like particularly great movies, except for Daredevil. I'll die on the hill, but that's a great film. But I don't know. There's something about them that just hit differently. And like, since everyone always talked highly of the Spider-Man movies, I was like, I was like saving them. You know, I was just kind of saving them for like the right time. Apparently now's the right time. So.
Yeah. I mean, No Way Home coming out next week.
Oh yeah, shit! I forgot about that.
Pretty sure next week, right?
I think it's out, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's like in my local theater.
It's next. It's Thursday, December 16th. So 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. December 16th. What the fuck was I thinking? What?
I want to fucking see it now.
Yeah. So yeah, I've only ever seen like my like first Spider-Man movie was like the fucking like Homecoming. And I was a big fan of it when it came out. I haven't seen it since like a couple years, but I remember it being I remember it being decent.
I liked Homecoming.
Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of. I wasn't the biggest fan of Far From Home. I just thought it kind of didn't really do anything that interesting. Like it just wasn't really into it. Yeah, I haven't seen the Andrew Garfield. Wait, is that him? Andrew Garfield? Fucking the Amazing Spider-Man. I haven't seen either of those. I hear they're not supposed to be that great, but
both
I
of
might check
them
them out at some point.
out. The first one is solid. It's not bad. Second one, I've seen it, but apparently I don't remember much of it because there's several characters that were in it that I totally forgot were in it entirely. Like fucking Spider-Man, or not Spider-Man, Black Cat's in it technically. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't remember this.
Fucking The Amazing Spider-Man from 1977, directed by E.W. Swackhammer. What the fuck? Yeah, I kind of want to see that. It looks funny. I've seen clips of it. It looks really stupid.
With a Japanese Spider-Man TV show, I think, live action.
Something like that. There's something like that on fucking Letterboxd, Spider-Man the movie. It's like a 30-minute Japanese thing. Okay. Amazing Spider-Man 1977, when extortionist threatens to force a multi-suicide. What the fuck? Okay. Peter Parker has to stop him. Nicholas Hammond as Spider-Man. Okay.
What the fuck? There's a what the okay, so I googled Spider-Man, Japanese Spider-Man, and like the first pic I see is Spider-Man holding fucking like Uzi.
Wait, hold on. Spider-Man Japanese?
Yeah, I was just like Japanese Spider-Man, Spider-Man Japanese.
What the fuck? Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, there's fucking Spider-Verse, which I watched for the first time last night. We were actually considering like lumping that in for this episode and having a guest on, but the guest couldn't make it, and we kind of decided like we'll have enough to talk about with this trilogy without having Spider-Verse. So we might do an episode on that at some other point, maybe when the sequel comes out. Because I was a huge fan of that. It was fucking bussin'.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
You busted.
But we're not here
Busted
for
hard.
that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm just kind of giving my general thoughts on the other fucking Spidey Boys properties.
So, like, the first thing I did when I put in the disc, because I have nostalgia for a bit of it, was watch the fucking music video for the song Hero that, like, plays in the credits of the movie. I don't know if you heard it or not.
I don't remember. The first one?
Yeah, the first one.
Is that like a Nickelback song?
It's technically not Nickelback, but, like, it is, because it has the fucking Chad Kroeger. Yeah. And Josie Scott from Saliva.
Saliva. Shout out Saliva. I own a CD. I own a Saliva CD. For those who don't know.
Amazing.
Fucking radical.
Yeah. I know they also wanted to make the movie for like a good 18 years before they finally went ahead with it.
I wonder what this would be like if it was made in like the 80s.
Oh, probably as bad as the Captain America ones were.
Were those from the 80s? Or was it like late 90s? Or early
Okay,
90s?
they might have been like 70s even. I don't know. Hold on, I gotta Google this now. Wow, it's 1990, but every time I fucking see video footage, it looks like fucking 1970.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like a 90s film at all. What the actual fuck? Maybe it was filmed in the 70s, but came out in the 90s? There's no way this is a 90s film. Everyone looks fucking super old.
1990. What the fuck? That looks like it's from like the 60s or some shit.
Yeah, no.
What the fuck?
Maybe it's the way they filmed it.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
they,
the whole
like,
thing's free on YouTube. Nice.
it's a World War II film, so maybe they filmed it to look like an older film on purpose.
This is going in the watch list.
They also did a Punisher with Dolph Lundgren. There's the infamous Roger Corman Fantastic Four film that's never, like, aired.
There's that the Avengers film with fucking Uma Thurman.
I don't think that's superhero based though.
Isn't it? I thought it was. Isn't it like the Avengers?
Don't. It's not like comic book Avengers.
It's
Just
not.
shit and then
It's just the name.
it's it's just the name.
What about like Steel? Wasn't that from the 90s?
I don't
The
know.
fucking one with Shaq.
Yeah, they did. I know Wes Craven did the Swamp Thing movie in '82.
I want to see that.
Me too.
Is he a superhero?
Spider-Man. Swamp Thing?
Yeah, is he a fucking superhero?
He's like a villain.
Oh. So what is... I think we all know the plot of Spider-Man, don't we?
Yeah. Guy gets bitten, becomes a spider dude.
Fucking nerd gets bitten. Get wrecked.
Yeah.
Freak, am I right?
Specifically a nerd.
Can I just say that, like, Tobey Maguire does not look like he's in fucking high school?
None of them do. They're all
No.
like mid-20s.
Yeah,
Actually,
I think
Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah, she was like 19, I think. Kirsten Dunst.
Oh, well, she was like 18, I think, when they were filming it, because she did turn 18 on one of the days on set. Because I remember them talking about it, because she was part of the commentary.
Yeah,
I didn't write a fucking note for it for some reason.
Yeah, but fucking Tobey Maguire and James Franco, they do not look like they're in high school.
Oh yeah, the first thing of the fucking movie is Toby missing his bus and running towards it.
Yeah.
Getting on the bus and fucking tripping up like a fucking nerd.
Yeah, he's a fucking nerd. He gets bullied and called freak because for some reason, literally every high school bully, when they bully someone, they call him freak. That is a unwritten law of cinema.
But anyways, they're at the fucking museum thingy that looks like a government building. I don't know if it's an actual museum or not. It just looks like, because it might be a set. I don't know. Because I know exterior shots. I noticed when they were fucking going to like visit the place, there were like kids standing outside with like on the fucking um grass with like blankets and shit. I'm like, what kind of fucking place is this?
Like it's a college campus.
Yeah, I'm like, is this a college campus? And they just didn't fucking get rid of any of the students?
Is that what people do on college campuses? Sit in the grass on blankets? I feel
Maybe
like
in
that's
every
another unwritten
fucking
rule of cinema. Is you
that's
must
like a
have,
90s and 2000s thing.
yeah, maybe play some Green Day in the opening when someone's like going to class and there's like people sitting there and it's playing like kind of like pop punk.
Yeah, it's gotta be pop punk.
Um,
One of the many unwritten laws of cinema. If you're making a high school movie, you have to have a bully and you have to have some pop punk in there.
yes,
You have to have a pretty woman who's infatuated by some creepy nerd guy.
yes. Who's like her boyfriend is like a complete dick.
Every single fucking time.
Yeah, nerd gets bitten, turns into a fucking superhero, and can shoot web out of his wrists. Which is interesting because like the only Spider-Man movies I'd seen before this were the Spider-Man: Homecoming and Far From Home. So I wasn't aware that Spider-Man actually shot web out of his wrists. I thought he had like a web shooter, like he made that to make himself more spider-like. I'm a fucking idiot, but that's how it is in those movies. So
Yeah, which I think, I don't remember how it was in The Amazing Spider-Man. I think it was like a blend between he could do it with his wrist, but he needed a machine to do it better. Not a machine, but like a little device.
hmm.
Oh no, sorry. Never mind. The cast in this film is it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, you got Tobey Maguire, who you don't really see much at all anymore.
Tobey Maguire from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah, he used to be, I think, Leonardo DiCaprio's best friend for a long time,
Oh, I didn't know
or
that.
something like that. I think he still is friends with Leo because the Gay Little Gatsby was a thing.
And you know what's funny is like in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas when he shows up, it feels like it's a cameo. Like, oh look, it's Tobey Maguire, but like I don't was Tobey Maguire really like a popular actor until Spider-Man? Because
Um,
Fear and Loathing came out like 2 or 3 years before this.
fuck, shit. I don't know. I don't know what Tobey Maguire's
He said
prior
like Pleasantville. What the fuck else
prior
was he in?
what fucking word am I looking for? Prior business ventures.
Uh, let's see. He was in.
Wonder Boys.
Yeah, Pleasantville was after Fear and Loathing. Okay, so he was like Joyride, The Ice Storm, Deconstructing Harry. None of these look like super big movies.
He was a child actor in this, isn't it?
I suppose, but like, yeah. So like in Fear and Loathing, like he wasn't really. I don't know. It's so weird because to me, it's like, oh look, it's Spider Man, or like, oh look, it's the guy from Spider Man in Fear and Loathing. But like, it's not because he wasn't even big anyway. Yeah. So what do you think of Tobey Maguire as Spider Man? Because some people criticize his performance, thinking it's like, I don't know, just cheesy or like not quite what Spider Man should be. But like, I think it works great.
I I don't know really. I like Toby as Spider-Man, but he was I don't know. It's hard to say, to be quite honest. I mean, he does look way too old to be a high schooler, and I think they
Yeah.
probably should have went with like the college years first.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's
make
the thing. It starts and like it seems like it's gonna be like a high school movie, but then like pretty soon into it, or like pretty quickly, he's in college. It's like not. It doesn't stay too long as like the on the high school part of it.
I don't think he's in college in the first one, is he?
Yeah, isn't he?
I don't. I think he is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. Because it like kind of like cuts or like skips ahead a little bit, or no, it kind of like jumps um after he like gets his suit and stuff together, doesn't it? And it kind of like cuts ahead, and like Mary Jane's working at a diner and shit. And like after he graduates, after oh yes, spoilers for the whole Spider-Man trilogy. But after like Uncle Ben dies, and like shit, and he's like after the graduation and stuff. Like yeah, I'm pretty sure he's in college in this. I don't think you actually like see him going to college until the second one, when like Dylan Baker shows up and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, something about Tobey Maguire is like he's like something about him like strikes me funny, or like it strikes me as like humorous. Like sometimes he'll just be like standing there not saying anything, and just like the look on his face like makes me crack up. Like and it's like I mean I think he's good as Peter Parker, but like yeah sometimes his line delivery or like obviously like it's been kind of memed, but like when he like cries or like screams, it's like really like kind of goofy.
He got better as the movies went on, because I find myself not noticing it as much in the third one.
Yeah, more so the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely the worst in the first one. There's some moments in the second one, but I think his emotional performance in the second one is probably the strongest of the series. Because there's a few speeches in there that are really good acting wise.
But there's just like something like I don't know, it just fits for me. Like a lot of this movie, like there are parts of this movie that aren't like some of the technical elements, some of the CGI and stuff isn't like great. But like it just works. It has like a really like kind of like an old school vibe to it, which I really like. I don't know, just like it just does it for me. It's just like really it's like exactly what I want out of a superhero movie, because like it follows like the typical like superhero origin story formula. It follows like the typical superhero origin story formula pretty closely. It doesn't like stray from that, same like plot beats and stuff. But I don't know. It just does it so well that it doesn't like bother me. I don't know. It's just I really like this movie.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like in the first one, the color palette is a bit stale, along with the cinematography.
Yeah, that's not exactly like the strongest point of the movie. I'd say it's like that the visual part. Even though there are like good visual parts of some of the fight scenes and stuff, there is something that bugs me about this movie, and also I forget if it's in 2, but I know it's in 3. It's just something that I really hate when they do this in movies. It's when there's narration at the very beginning and the very end. I don't know, something about that it just bugs me because it's like it just feels like kind of a lazy way to deliver like some kind of exposition or like wrap up without actually being like something that's consistently used throughout the film. I just
when you're in school and doing an essay and you're like, so all in all,
yeah, it's like
fucking paragraph.
Yeah, I don't know. That bugs me in movies, and it kind of bugged me in this.
I mean,
it's not that big of a deal.
It's kind of fine for me. I don't know. It just exists as an element. I see what you're saying, but at the same time, it doesn't really bother me. There's some good moments, especially in when Norman Osborn is having his little monologues with himself.
Yeah, I love those scenes. I really like the first like when he's in the mirror and he's like it's like cutting between like him talking and then him like the reflection talking as like it's kind of like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type like type thing with him. How he's like at first he's not even aware of what he's doing, and then it's like slowly like takes him over. But like it cuts between like him talking and then like his reflection talking is like the evil half or whatever. Then later he's like talking to the mask. Yeah, I really like those scenes. Willem Dafoe's great here. I mean he's like over the top, but like it really works. I'd say it's like a really good comic book type villain. Same with J.K. Simmons as a fucking what the fuck is his name?
J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, throughout all three movies, any scene with J.K. Simmons in it is like, I don't know, he
Amazing.
just like, yeah, yeah, I love all the J. Jonah Jameson scenes.
He has a lot of charisma, attitude. He's just perfect for the role, and
Yeah,
that's why we kept him.
I feel like J.K. Simmons is kind of underrated. Like even if he's in a bad movie, he's usually good.
I believe people like to see him more now after Whiplash.
Oh fuck yeah, love
But
Whiplash.
before Whiplash, I would say he was underrated.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I feel like he's never like the star of a movie. You know, I don't think I've ever seen a movie where he was like the main character.
That's a good fucking point.
Like even like Whiplash, he is like the second main character or like a main focus, but like still, he's not the main character. I don't know. I'm gonna look it up. Is there like a movie where he's like,
Maybe
wait,
honorary.
hold up, Will Ferrell voiced Megamind? What the fuck?
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't. And Brad Pitt voiced Metro Man? Hold up. I did not know this. Okay.
Yeah, and a pretty I want to say Jack Black's there too, but I don't know.
I think so. Is he? Ben Stiller is Bernard. I haven't seen It's so weird. I've never watched Megamind in its entirety, but like it always used to play on Cartoon Network. Like at night, like it would always fucking play on Cartoon Network. So like I've seen like every scene from it like at least like 10 times each, but I've never but just like separate scenes from it in like at different times. Like I've never watched it in its entirety all the way through.
I've never really paid attention to it because I think I tried and like it, so I was like, "Fuck this movie, I don't care about
Mm. I really don't think J.K. Simmons ever been the main character in a movie. I'm looking through his filmography. I don't see anything where it looks like he's the main character.
Yeah, he has a TV show, but that's better.
Which one?
Counterpart.
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, it's some TV show and something with some people. I think it's like Amazon.
He was in I Lost My M in Vegas.
What?
Is this a motherfucking M&M's commercial? Okay. Anyway, back to Spider-Man. The Green Goblin's helmet looks very cheesy.
It
looks like something that would be in like the Batman TV show from the 60s.
It looks like a motocross helmet.
Something like that. I don't know. Something about it is just very cheesy. Like I cannot take that character seriously, but I don't think it's really supposed to be taken seriously. Because he is very over the top. You know, there's a scene when he's like pretending to be like an old lady in a burning building. And he like pulls off the fucking like thing, and it's like, ha ha.
About that scene after it happens, that it's kind of like a blink and to miss it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But I like his suit. The helmet is a bit jarring to look at because it's a bit oversized.
Yeah.
Fucking massive. And very pointy. And I never noticed that you could see his mouth through the mask.
Yeah, that's odd that you can see his eyes and mouth. Like if you, it's like a Halloween mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't look very protective. Looks kind of like just plastic.
Yeah,
Heavy
fucking
plastic.
like Green Goblin 2.0, and the third one is like it's like cooler and sleeker. Fucking hell, it's like cooler and sleeker looking. But like, I like the original. I like Defoe.
The
Goblin.
fucking new Goblin outfit's a bit cheesy.
I don't know. I think it looks cool.
It's like just what I think they thought would be trendy and cool because it looks like a fucking like snowboarder outfit.
Yeah, but it's cool. I like snowboarders.
But Spider-Man 1.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of little things in this movie that are very. I noticed a lot more detail. I watched it twice technically, the same night, because I watched and then the commentary. So I kept noticing smaller details and stuff like the wallpaper in Peter Parker's bedroom has little spiderweb designs in it.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Yeah, since this is my first watch, I might just be kind of commenting on like the very basic things. But yeah.
Yeah, as there's like small things like I know during that scene where like fucking Peter he gets bitten, and he's like seizing out in his room, and he sees those visions and shit. And there's like a small little like spider in an eyeball scene. That's
Oh yeah.
from old Giallo, per Sam Raimi's words. He couldn't remember which Giallo it was from, but he was pretty sure it was a Fulci.
Yeah, who's that one that really likes eyeballs?
What?
There's that one that always uses like something always happens to eyeballs in his movies. Is that Fulci?
It might be Fulci.
I forget. I don't know much about Giallo.
Me neither. I haven't seen as many as I'd like to.
Shout out Don't Torture a Duckling, underrated movie.
Horror movie director that likes eyeballs. I don't know if this will get me anywhere.
Louis Buñuel. Louis
Oh.
Buñuel. Fucking Unshiananalo. Unshiananalo. That's got a very good eyeball cutting scene. Unshiananalo.
That's like the fucking like first of its kind, isn't it?
That's like it's still like very effective, and that's from like 100 years ago. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, it's very visceral.
I need to see more Buñuel. The Young and the Damned is a very great film.
But sounds like a soap opera. Pretty sure that is a soap opera.
Young and the Damned?
The Young and the Damned? Yeah.
Yeah. Los Olivarios? Los Olivarios. Back to fucking Spider-Man.
Keep it third up. But as I was saying, there's like smaller details I kept noticing, like with actors that I'm now more aware of that I wasn't.
Oh yeah, any Oz any Oz actors in this?
Actually, surprisingly, not any I'm aware of aside from J.K. Simmons, of course.
Yeah, doesn't he play like a skinhead or something in that?
He plays like the main villain of the show.
Ooh, nice.
When Peter first gets his fucking powers and he's like kind of stunned, or is it stunned's the right word? Because he goes to school that day, and then he gets in a fight with Flash Thompson, then he just fucking leaves school.
Oh yeah, I really love that scene. With the first one, he's like, "Hold on, something's on fire in here."
What?
Sorry. A rope caught on fire. I really like when it's like it's kind of like the spider sense, and like I think like his like fist is coming towards him, and it like freeze or like slow. It's like really like slow mo. Kind of reminds me of like and it's like going around the hallway, and you see like the spitball and stuff. It reminds me of like Fight Club for some reason. There's like a scene towards the beginning of Fight Club. I don't know why it reminds me of that in particular. Like that's not the only movie to do that, but I don't know. It kind of reminds me of that. I don't know. It's got some like even though I wouldn't say the cinematography is like the high point of the movie. It definitely has its moments, I think.
Yeah. I noticed, like, speaking of the fight scene, the fucking reaction of the skull was kind of very weird. Because they were watching the fight, and they were like, yeah, fight. And then Peter does his shit, and now they're all of a sudden like, what the fuck? I gotta get out of here, man.
I think they just
They're
wanted to see the
all
nerd get beat up.
You're like cheering on Peter Parker, and all of a sudden they're like creeped out. I'm like, what?
Well, yeah, because he fucking like kicks him across the school.
Yeah,
They're
I mean,
like, what the fuck, nerd can do that?
then he runs off, and he's like trying to shoot his webs, and he's like, go, Spidey, go, or some shit. Go, web, go.
all I can think of when I see that scene is that meme of like he's doing it, and then you see like the jizz, like the cum shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of memes. There's a lot of memes from this movie.
He's
So like before,
really shooting gross.
but like actually watching it is different than just seeing like
The
scenes or
context
sections. Yeah, like the actual context, like the scene when Uncle Ben dies. There's like that crying Peter or crying Tobey Maguire meme. That's like an image that you see a lot on the internet. But like that scene, it's actually kind of sad. Like I actually thought it was pretty like a sad scene.
But like one totally like weird thing about that scene is he fucking does his thing in the ring with Bonesaw McGraw, which is honestly an amazing character in the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Shout out Randy Savage and Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. Bruce Campbell shows up in all 3 movies in little cameos.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell actually gives him the Spiderman name in this.
Yeah, because he says he's the human spider.
Yeah. He's like, that's how you can't get. What the fuck? He's like, amazing Spider-Man. That's not
I think it's funny how in the cage fight, the guy just starts like trying to attack him with a crowbar. Like, what the fuck? Like, what are you trying to kill him? Like, I mean, obviously, it's like he could get hurt from fighting him, but he's just like straight up trying to like hit him with a crowbar.
Wrestling back then was pretty fucking wild. That was like the Attitude Era. I don't know if you know anything about wrestling.
I don't. I really don't.
That was like the middle of the Attitude Era when they were doing some very weird plot lines and trying to kill people, but not really. Fuck, completely forgot what I was about to say after this.
Uncle Ben.
Oh yeah, there's the Uncle Ben thing. Also, before I get to that, there's a very young Octavia Spencer in this.
Yeah, I noticed that.
She's the guy. She's the one who signs Peter into competition.
Yeah, and she's like,
it's kind of a weird competition. It's like just sending a normal fucking guy out to wrestle this giant dude.
Yeah, it's like just want to see.
It's a little intense. Well, it's kind of also cheesy that the whole reason he does this thing is to get money to get a car to impress MJ.
But like, what's funny is like her boyfriend pulls up in a car that's like really like a nice car, and then he's looking at the paper and he wants to get like the fucking $4,000 one. It's like you're not gonna impress her with a $4,000 car.
Those prices were a bit cheap for those specific cars too. I'm like, what the fuck? Those would be great deals now.
Yeah, I've been like looking into car shit because I want to get one. But like they're fucking expensive. Like cars, like even like a good like used car, it's like fucking expensive, Like you can get like a piece of shit car, but like you might end up like paying more with maintenance for it. What the fuck am I talking about?
Oh yeah, getting to what I was trying to get to for like 5 minutes now. He's walking to get his money and the guy gets fucking robbed. And the cop's like, why didn't you stop him? He's like, I missed the part, but that's my problem. Like, what?
Well, because he just said that to him with the fucking he like didn't pay him or whatever, and he was like, I missed the part where that's my problem.
Apparently, I fucking missed that this time. And I saw it twice.
Yeah, he's like, he's gonna pay him, and I said, oh, well, you pinned him in 2 minutes, and you were supposed to last 3 minutes, so I'm only giving you $100. And he's like, no, that's not fair. It's like, I missed the part where that's my problem. So he kind of gets back at him by letting the guy steal the money.
And then
he fucking kills Uncle Ben. Actually, according to Spider-Man 3, it wasn't the guy who killed him, but...
Well, actually...
he was involved.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. But I find it kind of...
like every episode, we'll get to that.
Yeah, I find it kind of odd how abrupt Uncle Ben dying is, because it's not just like him dying or like his death, but it's like Peter's just like walking up and it's like, oh look, Uncle Ben's laying here dying. And it's like, okay, what? Like you don't. I kind of expected to see him, like you see him get shot or something. but it's just like he walks up and it's like, oh, he's lying here dead, and then he dies. But it's still a good scene.
Yeah. There's a scene, I don't know where in the fucking notes, not notes, where this particular dialogue comes from. I think it was when Harry was talking to Peter, and he's like, Peter, that was the first grade. Even so, sometimes you know people. I'm just like, what the fuck kind of line is that? What does it even mean?
I forget I forget when that was. What context? I forget the context.
I should have written down the context. I don't know why I didn't.
I do that all the time. Sometimes I have notes and I just cannot understand what the fuck I'm trying to say in them.
Yeah, I try to get better at that with my notes taken this time.
Yeah.
Because I think, most of my I have more Spider-Man 2 notes than anything.
Yeah, there's of course the classic, or the iconic, with great power comes great responsibility, line
Which is
scene.
a great line and one of the more powerful scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
And it still really holds up well.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like I like the Uncle Ben character. I mean, he's not in it for long, and he kind of shows up in like flashbacks and shit in the sequels. But I don't know, he's a good character for the little bit amount of time he's in it.
Yeah, and then we get J.K. Simmons. We've already discussed him briefly, but
did we?
We just brought up J.K. Simmons.
Oh wait, yeah. Shit, sorry.
Asked me about Oz
I have
alumni.
bad short-term memory, like Harry and Spider-Man 3.
Sorry. Anyways, Ted Raimi's in this.
Yeah, who is he in this? I saw him credited in all 3 films, but I forget who he plays.
He's the other news guy in the fucking room with Daily Bugle.
Oh yeah.
He's the other white guy that comes in and says stupid shit, and Jay's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Actually, Ivan Raimi, another brother of Sam.
How many Raimis are there?
I don't know. I didn't fucking know there was another Raimi till I watched commentary. That first scene in the movie when you see Peter getting on the bus and there's like a family walking to the right. That's his brother's family.
I did not know that.
Like, interesting. A lot of going back towards the set design. A lot of the fucking sets you can notice that they're like on the back lot, like very. Like, if you don't think about it, it's fine because you can obviously expect movies to be filmed on the backlight. That's a movie. If you know movies are fucking fake, whatever. But like, I feel like you would specifically tell some of the times and some of these like parts in all 3 movies that they are on the backlot. Especially, I believe the exteriors of Parker and MJ's house are actually real, but the interiors are on a not backlot. They're sets, basically. Yeah. And they tried to specifically model a lot of those sets off around houses in that area. They tried to go for like a nice older vibe, which is what you get from the movie, really.
Yeah, it's very kind of old school. I already said that. Fucking hell.
Yeah. But I mean, that goes on to the comment. Small thing I noticed, Easter egg or detail wise, there were a couple of things I noticed throughout the movie. I don't know who the fuck Quest is, but Oscorp may lose the contract to Quest happens at some point in the movie. Like towards the beginning when they're testing the serum. Towards that first guy who just gets fucking roasted. With the serum. Small little character cameo from the comics. One of Norman's right-hand men, scientist guys, I forget the first name, but it's Dr. Mendel Strom. He's kind of like a villain, kind of ally in a way in the comics at some points. So, yeah, that's a thing. And at some point when they're discussing the newspaper and they're trying to get photos of Spider-Man, because that's Daily Bugle's whole thing throughout all three movies is getting photos of Spider-Man and trying to make Spider-Man seem like the bad guy, because that's it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, because that's like J. Jonah Jameson's like whole like angle on it is like, oh, he's a menace.
He's not, but I mean, in a way, like, it's smart to play that angle because he's being the contrarian at that point, but I think it's a pretty smart decision to play that angle.
Mm. Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Money wise, at least, like sell wise, it's like, why is this new paper? People want to look at it if they're like trying to say Spider-Man's a menace, when other newspapers like Spider-Man's a hero. But I mean,
Yeah.
really, the first whole movie, Spider-Man is kind of the city's not sure what to make of Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's not until like the second and third until he's like recognized as
A good guy.
Yeah.
Cause anyways, I forgot to mention my entire fucking point. When they're talking about Spider-Man getting a photo, there's an off or like throwaway line where he says Eddie's been on it for a week. And I don't think at that point they were ever trying to get Venom in, or the character of Eddie Brock, into the narrative.
Topher.
And yeah, for Grace. But like, I just thought that line was interesting. If it's actually meant to be a reference to Eddie Brock or not, I don't know.
Probably. Because there's a reference to Doctor Strange in the second one.
Yeah. Which is also interesting that he's never brought up again. But I guess it's just like, hey, wink, wink, we know the comics. Blah.
In the second one, fucking Spider-Man is delivering pizza to Bleecker Street, and isn't that where Doctor Strange is?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, my dad pointed that out, even though he's never seen Doctor Strange, which is odd. It's like, what the fuck?
I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah, I know.
Somehow.
Weird. I like the scene when fucking Peter's turning into Spider, and like you see like a skull like appear over his face and shit. It's like kind of a weird, like, kind of got that, you know, Raimi horror vibes as he does. Yeah, it really does. It has like that 2000s superhero charm, but also has like the like Sam Raimi charm, where it's like there's parts of it that's like really cheesy, but it works. It's not like just completely like stupid over the top. It doesn't take itself seriously at all, but it doesn't take itself so seriously that it feels like it's like a parody of itself.
A lot more humor in these movies.
Yeah. Well, which I really love. I mean, I really like Sam Raimi's style. I mean, I don't love him like some people do, but like I really love the Evil Dead movies, and like what the fuck else has he done?
Drag Me to Hell?
Yeah, Drag Me to Hell.
I like Drag Me to Hell, but apparently some people do not like it at all, and I'm kind of fucking confused about that.
I liked it, but I got sick of all the fucking jump scares.
It's basically an Evil Dead movie.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's fun. It's a very fun movie. I enjoyed it. It's got like really.
Yeah, but we're not here to talk about it.
No, but he incorporates like cheesiness into his films well, and like in a way that makes it it doesn't ruin it. It doesn't just turn it into like this is like, you know, I don't know. I'm rambling.
I don't know. I have a lot of Raimi horror vibes in the first one, but in the second one, he cranks that shit up, and it's amazing.
There's a lot of screaming in the second one.
Yeah, and a lot of weird sexual attention, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little sexual and romantic tension between MJ and Peter in this one, for sure.
Between who?
Peter and MJ.
Oh, I thought you said Aunt May.
Because in this film, like, it's kind of obvious that not Aunt May, fuck. MJ has a thing for Peter, but Peter's oblivious to it, even though he too has a crush on MJ.
Yeah,
and there's a bit of tension there still.
Fuck, I feel like I didn't take down enough notes, and there's like whole parts of the movie that I'm like missing. There's like Thanksgiving at one part, and he's like, "Oh, I beat an old lady with a stick with his cranberries."
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that line. I was trying to get to the part where there's the whole Times Square festival scene, but before that, to get to that point, Norman pretty much gets like kicked out of his fucking business.
Oh yeah, they like fucking.
They're like, "You're out, Norman." He's like, "Out am I? You know how much I've sacrificed for this."
Yeah, there's like an 8K clip of that on YouTube. It's just like that, like little like 15-second clip, and it's like in 8K.
The links people go through for memes.
Yeah, yeah. Spider-Man memes. That's the whole fucking or Raimi Spider-Man memes. That's like a whole another conversation.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Now, Dr. Ock is being brought back for some Spider-Man memes.
Oh yeah, yeah. Fucking what
It,
the fuck
it
is it called?
means it's probably gonna get really fucking meta in over the next month.
Yeah. Do you
Cause
think Toby will show up in fucking new one?
I'm sure all of them will. Actually, there's a way I want the fucking movie to open up. I don't know if it will open up this way, but I think it's the best way to open up No Way Home. But I can't talk about it until we talk about the second movie.
It should just start with Toby looking directly into the camera and saying "Pizza time."
Um, but at the fucking parade or whatever, the festival that's going on in Times Square, um, in the first movie, Peter's down on the ground. He's like looking up at the balcony with Harry and MJ, and they're talking about MJ's dress. And he's like, "What? Why didn't you wear the black dress? My father loves black." I'm like, thought that was pretty fucking amusing.
Yeah, and then she's wearing black at the Thanksgiving scene.
I didn't pick up on that,
Yeah, I noticed that.
but it's just kind of funny to me that Norman loves black, apparently.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Touching back on the subject matter with Spider not being heralded as a hero quite yet in this universe, there's a whole fire scene in the apartment complex where he saves a kid, or is that the second
Yeah.
one?
I think that's the second one, but he does save someone from a fire in this, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
The
like
second one is when he doesn't quite have his powers. But in the first
yeah,
one, what the fuck? I know that that's when Green Goblin is dressed as an old lady
yeah,
in the
because
first one.
he saves someone and then so, some like bystanders like there's someone else up there, and the cop is like, "Stay right there." He's like, "I gotta go," and then it's like, I don't remember what the cop says. He's like, "I'll be right here," and he's like, "I'm not coming back."
Oh yeah, he's
And,
like he's like gonna arrest him or some shit. He's like, no, I'm
yeah,
not. And then he's like, oh yeah, because fucking Green Goblin, he like offers. He's not just trying to kill him. He's like offers him like a fucking like we can do this together.
does it happen after this scene or no? Where Peter gets taken up to the rooftop by Green Goblin?
Oh, that's in the first one.
Yeah, that's in the
Wait,
first
sorry, I'm fucking tripping. That's before that. That's when he like offers him whatever. He like drags him there, and then he like fucking to get his attention, he burns down the building and dresses as an old lady to like ask him how he feels about his
Yeah,
offer, or whatever the fuck. I
but
love Green Goblin in this. He's very epic.
okay, so Green Goblin's dressed up in the old lady outfit, and they fight it out, and then they have to go to Thanksgiving next. So
Oh yeah, and he has
here's
the fucking
the,
cut on his arm.
yeah, here's the part where I was talking about though. So Norman shows up first, and they're like, "What? Why you're so late?" And Norman says, "Work was murder."
Yeah,
And then Peter shows up, and they're like, "I had to beat an old lady with a stick to get it." She'll
got
get the
it because
credit
he was
aside.
dressed as an old. Oh, I just realized that he was dressed as an old lady. That's why he said that.
Yeah.
I'm stupid.
Oh fuck! I just spilled a bunch of fucking Pringles.
Rip. Oh, I like the whole like Harry, his like whole the whole situation with him, like kind of or some of the sequels, but with him like avowing revenge on Spider-Man and shit. But I like his thing with like how he feels. Um, he's like kind of jealous of Peter because his father likes him.
Yeah.
And he feels like he's maybe like, I don't know, a disappointment or some shit.
Yeah, it's that angle that he feels his father likes Peter more because Peter's more accomplished than Harry is.
Yeah.
It's a point of tension. One of the many fucking points of tension between Harry and Peter.
Yeah, and then also the whole MJ thing with, that's like his girlfriend, and Peter obviously is like likes her, and and fucking Norman thinks she's just like a gold digger.
Which is pretty out of line and
Yeah,
weird.
he read it. He read it weird.
Yeah, for sure.
I really love when they're at the Thanksgiving table and uh what is it? Aunt May like gives him a knife, Norman, and he's like something like that, and he like what is it? He does something. He's like it's almost like he's about to snap because like he's like what the fuck even happened? I kind of forget. He like injected himself with something that made him like go nuts. What the fuck happened with him? I don't know. What the hell happened with Norman?
The super evolution. Fuck. What is it called? Super evolutionary soldier serum SC something something. Fuck. Shit. I don't remember exactly what it's called. But he overdoes it. That's how he turned into the goblin.
Yeah. There's a scene when fucking Peter saves MJ from like a gang of rapists, and they have an upside down kiss.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is referenced in 2.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a reoccurring theme with the upside down kiss. In 3 as well.
Was it in 3? Yeah, it was
Yeah,
in
because he
3.
kisses Gwen, and she's like, "Bro, that's my
Oh my god, don't even get me started on that whole fucking
thing." I'll get you started on that later.
irritating thing.
Fuck, I know I have more to say about this movie, but I'm like, I didn't take down the notes, so I just cannot think of what the fuck I'm trying to say.
You like
Fuck
it
me.
mostly, all 3, don't you?
What?
This is the one you like the most, right?
Yeah. This is definitely my favorite of the trilogy. I just really
The fuck was that?
what?
I heard a beep.
You heard beep? Uh oh.
It was like a hospital beep.
Fucking flatlining over here.
Were you waking up from the coma?
Do you think you have more to say about this one, or should we kind of get on to the second?
I mean,
We've been talking for a good bit about it.
we should talk about the end.
Yeah. So fucking.
Oh, there's 2
Oh,
things
you know
towards
what?
the end.
You know what I really like? The stakes in this aren't super high. Like, it's more just like on a personal level for Peter Parker. Rather than like him trying to save the world or something. Like the main like conflict at the end is he has to either save the bus or the bus full of children or whatever the fuck or MJ. And like that's not something about that I just really like. It's not overly like kind of one of the elements I find a little bit weaker. I mean, I do really like 2 as well, but some of the stakes in that one I find a bit more generic maybe. But I really like the whole like ending sequence with like Green Goblin. He like faces off with him, and then he ends up like fucking like getting the thing slammed into him. And I really like the Green Goblin character in general, just because like at first it's almost like he's not really a bad guy. He's like he just kind of like lost it. And then like it's slowly like the two personalities kind of merge together throughout the film. But like
I mean, I agree, but yeah, he's honestly he might be. I don't want to like. There's not. How do I say this? Out of like who I consider to be the main 3 villains of each movie, Octavius, Green Goblin, and Sandman. He's my least favorites of those three.
Interesting. He's probably my favorite. Yeah, I'll talk more about the other villains when we get to those discussions. But I don't know. Just any scene with Willem Dafoe in it. Actually, any scene with Willem Dafoe or J.K. Simmons was just like pure gold. You know, I mean, like I don't know. I just, yeah, I don't think I have much more to say about it. What were we gonna say about the ending?
When Peter's got to choose between saving the children or MJ, the MJ falling is kind of a wink and a nod to MJ, or is it Gwen Stacy? I forget whose death it really is in the comics. I'm pretty sure it's MJ's death in comics. But Gwen Stacy and well, spoilers for that movie. Anyways,
Wait, which movie? I forget which movie did you spoil?
I was about to spoil Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not that you're not missing much, anyways.
Yeah, I hear it's bad.
Best moment of the second one.
But
anyways, as I'm saying, there's a bit of a wink and nod to MJ's death from the comics when she's falling and they have like the angle, and it's kind of repeated upon in I think all three films if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, there's like I like that he chooses the the life of Spider-Man like over MJ at the end. I mean, obviously in the sequels like they go in a different direction with that, but I don't know, I just think it's kind of interesting ending. And like I like how it sets up fucking Harry. He's like gonna avenge his father or whatever. Yeah, I don't know, just overall I think it's a really solid movie, and just generally like probably one of my favorite superhero movies now. It's not quite as good as Daredevil though. Nothing can quite beat Daredevil.
He's not talking about the TV show, folks.
No, yeah, the fucking 2003 Ben Affleck one. Shout out that. That's like top tier Kino.
I've seen that movie since I was a wee lad, so I can't comment on it.
It's so good.
I do have it.
Nice. Yeah. We have to do an episode on that and Elektra at some point.
I do not have it. I've never seen Elektra.
Me neither, but I want to see it. It looks funny.
Jennifer Garner. Why did I never watch Elektra as a kid? I don't know. I think we all knew it was bad.
Yeah, it looks bad, but since it's related to Daredevil, I must watch it because Daredevil is pure Kino, and I will die on that hill. Like I used to think that was a guilty pleasure movie, but like I don't even think it is anymore. Anyway, yeah, I would give this like a solid Spider-Man. I would give it like a solid 8 out of 10. I might give it a 9 on rewatch. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Also, my Blu-ray of it looks really great. It almost looked like my Blu-ray of it almost looked like it was in 4K. It was like a really good Blu-ray.
Nice. I'd give it a nice 7 out of 10. No higher than that.
Okay.
You're like, okay.